Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. Today we're honored to have the one and only Markos Moulitsas, the founder and everything else of what? Daily Cross.
How you doing?
How you doing, my brother? Once again here at Netroots Nation. Last time we were concerned. Are we still concerned?
Last time we were concerned about what?
Our politics.
I wasn't concerned.
No, you weren't concerned. I was concerned.
Oh, okay. I thought I was out on a limb because it was last August.
Yes.
And the conventional wisdom was Crimson Tide,
yes.
Red Wave, right?
Yes.
And I was like, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm looking at all the numbers and the special elections and the data, and things are looking pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel like I was out on a limb.
Yeah.
But definitely conventional wisdom said
we should be.
But you looked into that. It was history says that the president in power loses midterm elections.
Yes.
Except during wartime.
Yeah.
World War II and 9/11 were the exceptions. And Joe Biden had a 38% approval rate.
Yes.
So that was the argument against it. And I was like, but look at the special elections. We're crushing it in the special elections. Yes. And look at the data, look at the numbers. And so ultimately I was right.
Yes.
Which felt
it feels good to say that, don't it?
So good, man.
It feels great to say you're
especially
right.
when predicting Democrats winning, and then I'm right about it. And if I'm predicting that Republicans are going to win, and then I'm right, I don't really need to celebrate that, right? That's not fun.
Yeah.
But it's funny because New York Times just had a bizarre article that said that there are warning signs for Democrats heading into next year because Republican turnout was higher in the midterm. And
think about the psychology of that. I mean, the math of that.
If Republican turnout is higher and the Democrats won, they are in deep shit.
No kidding. Yes.
That is the story. That means that some Republicans voted for the Democrats.
Yes.
It means that independents dramatically swung to the Democrats, and it means that Democrats turned out. Nothing about that is good for the Republican side. It's the weirdest story I've ever seen.
Let me ask you this, Markos, because you've been on you've been on national TV and all of that, and somehow I don't think people register some of what you say. Where the hell do these guys come up with some of these articles when we have the data right here, and then they write what they write? Is it that they're hoping to move the electorate to where they think they are? Or, I'm serious about this.
No. I don't think it's nefarious in the sense that they're trying to game the system. What's happening, I don't know if you remember back in the day, people say nobody ever got fired for buying IBM.
Right.
And it's that. If the conventional wisdom says Democrats are in disarray, and you write a story that says Democrats are in disarray, nobody's going to not. You're like, that's the conventional wisdom.
Right.
And so, for example, for the longest time, Republicans would say, this is a center-right country. Right. And they said it so often and so much that everybody repeated it, including Democrats.
Yes.
Now, this is a very early Netroots project where we looked at the data and said, what are they seeing that we're not seeing? Because if we go down issue by issue, the American public is with the Democrats on almost every single one of them.
Elizabeth Warren came to a convention in 2015, and she laid down all these numbers.
It's not controversial. Right. And so, I mean, it's just like somebody saying Joe Manchin is a centrist, or Nancy Mace is a centrist, Congresswoman Nancy. What does a centrist mean? It doesn't mean you're in the middle of the extreme from the most liberal to the... Right. No, it means, to me, a centrist means with the American mainstream. Right. And in the American mainstream, the bulk of the Democratic Party is in the American mainstream. We are a centrist party. Right. And I don't mean this in a pejorative like... Well, I'm glad you said that you don't mean it in a pejorative, because I have this thing against, I call it the mythical center because of where the center moved, in my opinion. But I think we're talking about two different centers. Yeah, a different center. And I'm a solid liberal. Right, there you go. Okay, and that's where America is. That's where I am in the American mainstream. Right. How is that not the center? Right. How do you not define the center with where the vast majority of the people are? Right. And there may be people to the left of that, and there's a whole party to the right of that. Yeah. But where the American people are, and that's why Republicans are trying to undermine democracy. Right. They can't win on the issues. They're not even trying anymore. Yeah. Bud Light is not an issue. Trans children in sports is not an issue that resonates, that is relevant to most Americans. And they're trying to eliminate ballot initiatives effectively in Missouri and Ohio because they know that when liberal issues are put up, like abortion rights, they lose.
Right.
Now, the Democratic Party has a shit brand.
Yes.
And so if you slap on Democrat to a candidate name, you know, you automatically loses like 20 points. Like,
no kidding, though. Yeah.
And it's a thing. Like, pollsters will poll names without, you know, what do the issues start?
And everybody likes it.
Everybody likes a Democrat. Yeah. Then you ask one question saying, oh, by the way, that guy's a Democrat.
20 points.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work to be done. But we are on the cusp of this sort of political transition where the Republican Party has surrendered any effort to win new votes, and the Democratic Party is unprecedentedly united in its message, and it's a message that resonates. There's no micro-targeting message in the past. Oh, we're going to talk to rural one way and urban and suburban different ways, and people are like, well, what do you stand for? I hear you're talking out of all sides of your mouth, right? You don't stand for anything. And it's because Democrats were afraid. They bought into this America's a center-right nation. They were afraid of the issues that were actually popular. And early Netroots were like, we're not asking you to like go left to where you're unelectable. We're asking you to like stick your finger up in the wind, see which way it's blowing, and go there.
Exactly. Because you know what? It's already what we believe.
Yes, go there.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally there.
Yeah.
As a party. And so you have somebody like Justin Jones in Nashville.
Was that beautiful or what, man?
And not only was it beautiful.
Justin Jones and what's the other guy's name? The guy from Maxwell.
Yeah,
you know who I mean, from Florida.
And so you have, you know, and you saw this in Nashville where he wasn't just getting support from urban Nashville Tennesseans. It was resonating with suburban and rural Democrats. It was energizing them in the rural areas too, because rural voters don't want their children murdered by gun violence. And so we finally have a message that sort of resonates in all, you know, rural, urban, suburban, resonates blue states, red states, purple states. And so we're unified in purpose and in message and in focus, and we're not fighting. We just saw this orderly transfer of power in the House. Can you imagine Republicans can't even keep...
They can't even keep their own party together.
Right now.
You know, look at what's going on yesterday,
So it's really, we have a chance here to really press our advantage.
Yeah.
We won a midterm election. Completely
if New York had just pulled our part of the bargain.
Yeah, and it will next year, and we may even have new districts.
Yeah,
because courts are saying,
that's what, exactly. Yeah.
So not only will we have new districts, but we're going to have presidential year turnout. California too. I mean, the Orange County turnout wasn't great. Like we'll get presidential year turnout.
Now, what's your thoughts on the your thoughts on the Senate race in California? I'm like, who do we pick?
I mean, I'm a Katie Porter person, but it's a very soft Katie Porter, and definitely not Barbara Lee. I don't think Barbara Lee is. She's my congresswoman, and she's great for what she is.
Right.
I prefer people who are a little more practical.
Well, you know, my thing with Katie is my candidate that I've been supporting, and you know, I quote her all. I don't know if you see the articles. I love Katie because of her whiteboard, and she kind of stands out. But also, I like Katie because she's young and will have staying power, and I want more young people in Congress doing the work that they do. Your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, absolutely. Ossoff is dynamic and exciting because a lot of part because of that youth, and energy and vigor, and just representing a generation that still doesn't feel particularly fully
represented.
Yeah, exactly, in our political process. And in fact, Congress has never been older than it is today. This is the oldest Congress.
And in that statement, I want to ask you a dangerous question that I think we should confront up front about, you know, the Biden age thing. Tell me what your honest thoughts about that.
I mean, he's clearly still got it.
I know he's got it, but
so
I mean,
that's all that matters.
How do you sell the false concern that the media is going to allow the right to do?
I mean, Donald Trump's 78. He's only 3 years younger.
I agree.
So no,
I agree with all of that. But how do we?
So the thing that, first of all, is I actually think Joe Biden might have one of the most successful presidencies we've seen in a long time.
The numbers speak for themselves.
It's absolutely dramatic, and the numbers aren't. His poll numbers don't reflect that, and I'm not sure what's happening there. And it'll be interesting as we have the rally around the flag effect closer to the election. I think that those numbers will go up.
But isn't it true that his polling numbers are off mostly because Democrats really haven't coalesced as they should, and they probably will at the end?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Yeah. I mean, Obama's numbers at this time were just that bad, and just as many people thought he should not run for re-election.
Again, okay.
So those questions are all bunk. Because when you ask like, should somebody else run? They think like, yeah, my favorite candidate.
Right.
They don't think, it's like everybody going like, yeah, we all want Elizabeth Warren to run, or we all want Kamala Harris to run. Like, that's not what they're thinking. They're thinking their ideal candidate, that person does not exist.
Right.
So it's a stupid question.
Right.
People will always answer yes, somebody else.
Right.
And politicians nobody likes politicians, right? So there's always somebody else. Yet Democrats would easily renominate Joe Biden, and they're probably going to renominate Donald Trump, absent.
Now, let me ask you something. And your thought, going to your crystal ball again, has been right the last few times. Donald Trump, do you think he really makes it to the convention?
Dude's not healthy. I mean, for all we know, he has a stroke next week. Right?
Oh, Lord.
So I'm not even... so there are...
No, but Markos, if suppose that's the case, does that present a danger for Biden?
It's a good question. Who would emerge from that field? If it's Ron DeSantis, it's
not a chance. I don't think it's a problem.
I mean, we don't take it...
You know who I'm scared of?
Brian Kemp?
You're going to laugh.
Brian Kemp?
No.
Who?
Christie.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, and nobody's there at all, right?
So here's a problem for the Republicans.
Yeah.
They have a significant chunk of their electorate that are not Republicans.
Right.
They are Trump, MAGA fanaticals. If Trump is not the candidate, this is what happened in 2022, right?
Right.
He's not on the ballot, they don't turn out. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in elections. They believe in their God King cult leader.
Right.
That's all they care about. If somebody takes out Trump, I think they're done. They lose even 10% of that. There's just no path.
Let me tell you something. I hope your crystal ball is right on that
where
one.
You have potential promise of Brian Kemp, who might actually be able to play for suburban college-educated white women. It's tougher, but it's that puts me a little more worried.
Yeah.
Chris Christie has been going after Trump hard, and that 30% MAGA base will not vote for Chris Christie no matter what.
But you know what I fear? That some Democrats will vote for Chris Christie, given New Jersey.
I mean, his approval rating in New Jersey was 16% when he left. Yeah. So he was damaged good, and to me, he looks like a kamikaze run, which is great.
And even that's good.
And it's actually smart for the Republican establishment to try to take out Trump. Had they been smart, I can almost guarantee if we had Mitch McConnell here and we said, be honest, should you have voted to impeach? He'd say yes today.
Mitch McConnell surprised me because he has been so bad in the way he has dealt with Trump. It's almost...
It's clear to me now that he regrets it.
Yeah.
And if he could go back and do it. He thought that he was a loser. He's damaged. He's going to go away.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why he would think that. It was all the signs were clearly there.
Well, everybody was saying it on the liberal side, right?
Exactly. So they're going to lose an election because of Trump.
Yeah.
It's better to rip off that Band-Aid and do what they did after Watergate.
Yeah.
I mean,
with Nixon, you
rip off the Band-Aid, you make him go away.
Yeah.
And then you rebuild from that.
But the thing that scares me I don't even want them rebuilding, because I tell you what, the only non-democratic branch of our government, the Supreme Court, and what do we do about that?
What we do is we expand it.
Okay, let's back up a second, because our guy right now is, I got in trouble on Daily Kos for saying something, and what I said was, it wasn't even anti-Biden, it was just saying Biden, I think, made a critical mistake in just outright saying, I am not going to expand the Supreme Court, when he went on to MSNBC. And my contention was, make it less obvious, because a lot of people depend on us changing the Supreme Court, given the staying power. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I wish he wouldn't say that.
Right.
I also know that Biden is, by definition, just by his character, he's a cautious person. Yeah. I mean, he said we weren't going to send tanks to Ukraine.
And
we said tanks.
Yeah. F-16s were sent.
Yeah. So he has a history of saying no. And then when the political conditions are there, he can evolve. So right now, for him to say, I'm going to expand the Supreme Court, it would give Republicans a reason to rally around the flag, saying like our majority is in danger. By saying no, it's off the table, Republicans can't run on that. I mean, they can point to like people like us.
Yeah, that's saying that. Yeah,
but without Biden saying it, it really makes it a lot harder. Now it's a lot different if he says that he wins re-election. We Ruben Gallego replaces Sinema.
Yeah,
and we hold the ground. We have 51 senators who would likely vote to eliminate the filibuster,
which is what we got to have.
Yeah, and then DC statehood's on the table. Even Joe Manchin's bill to eliminate partisan gerrymandering, that's on the table. Yeah. So we got a lot of things that we can do at that point, including expanding the Supreme Court. Now, at that point, if Biden says, let's not do it, then we're like, let's beat the shit out of him because there's no reason for him at this point. Before the election, there's really no benefit to it. I mean, I would love it because, don't get me wrong.
I know, but my question though is by making it as definite as he sounded, will he kind of affect? Some of us are not pragmatic. I mean, some of us are just not pragmatic enough. What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm a very lefty guy. You're a centrist. I'm a lefty, but I am going to team up and
centrist defined by
No. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I am going to compromise, and I wasn't a Hillary Clinton supporter, but I strongly came in support of her. I wasn't a Biden supporter. I came strongly in support of Biden after the team said, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But too many of us aren't like that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to base their support for Biden on this one issue.
I hope so.
I mean, I think it's going to be like, that was a shitty one. But okay, he just forgave student loan debt for 800,000 people. I don't know.
No, it was over a million, man. Yeah.
I just saw the headline earlier today, so I haven't read the stories.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
Oh, wait! I missed something. You're telling me I missed something. Something came over
today.
The Chiron today. What was it?
He just wrote off something like $800 billion in student debt overnight without even having to apply or anything. He just completely
took it off.
Yeah,
and he had the power to do that.
Well, we'll find out what the Supreme Court has to say about it. But
you know what they go say.
But
if they pay the bills before,
he thinks exactly.
Yeah,
he thinks. I mean, Biden. They think they got it though. They think they have the authority.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, the original one, the emerging authorization was about 9/11, so it was a bit of a stretch
to do that.
And so it's, I still don't like the decision, but there's some logic to it. We're like, okay, that was like a 9/11 bill.
Yeah.
I haven't read the story, so I don't know. But from what I vaguely remember, this was based on current law that was
that is great.
So that's the sort of stuff that I think is more tangible and will have more of an impact than him saying something that a lot of people didn't even know he said on an issue that's not front and center right now.
Okay.
And it doesn't need to be front and center right now. We don't need to give Republicans some reason to rally.
Well, we win the Senate. We take back the House. We hold the Senate and we get rid of Sinema. We get rid of Sinema.
That's happening.
Manchin, I don't know.
We actually need him to win, so it's okay if he holds on.
If Sinema loses and we get Gallego.
Yeah. So that's a +1.
That's
really.
a +1.
Yeah. So we're at 51-49. We still have to hold Montana, Virginia, West Virginia, in Ohio.
And the good thing is Tester's running this cycle, so he has 6 years, so he should be able to say yes to bust the filibuster.
Yeah, no, it's a tough race. It's Montana.
Yeah.
But Trump won it by 10 points.
Yeah, but Tester is a special guy in Montana.
He is, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Joe Manchin's going to be tough.
Joe, the truth of the matter is, even though it'll be left 50-50 with Joe Manchin gone, it's almost 50-50 now with Joe Manchin.
Yeah, but his voting rights bill is actually solid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. Eliminating partisan.
I didn't even check that.
It eliminates partisan gerrymandering. It has electoral college reform in it. So it actually locks in the vote. The electoral college, you can't get rid of it, constitutional reasons.
Right.
But it doesn't allow.
They can't play around with it like they were trying to play around with it
exactly.
during Trump.
It was actually a shockingly good bill. There's very little.
Why did he do that? Given who he is, that's surprising.
So the one thing he gave Republicans on it, I think, is he allowed like photo ID. But it's not even voter ID. It could be like a utility bill.
Yeah.
So it's just like proof that you live where you say you live.
Yeah, okay.
I'm actually, if that's a compromise and you get rid of partisan gerrymandering, I'm taking it.
Hell yeah.
And it means more work for voter registration people to make sure.
But still, it's a responsibility. So
we can do that work.
Okay, Markos, let's talk about Markos. What the hell's happening with Markos now? What are your big plans? Daily Coast, what else is going on?
Big plans are we got to win next year. So it's a lot of focusing on the core traditional Daily Coast mission of more and better Democrats, right? So more is important. We need to take this House. I feel really positive about the House. We need to make gains in state legislatures. We're so close to taking over legislatures in Virginia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. We got some real strong opportunities.
I hope the Democratic Party don't think Texas is really a lost cause. I'm in Texas, and I can tell you one thing. It's about us not. I know a lot of people don't like to hear me say that, but we are not going. Let me tell you something, Markos, and listen to here. We get rural hospitals closed, and we don't have Democrats going into Yoakum, Texas, or all these places and say, this hospital is closing and attaching it to the death of people who had to drive 100 miles for care. We don't do any of that and make a big issue out of that. And so marginal races we lose. There were a lot of marginal races we lose. Why do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, and Republicans, they know they can't win on the issue, so they've taken over the electoral machinery in Houston. In Houston, what's the county?
No, it is Harris County.
Harris.
That's where I live. Yeah.
And so, we need to solidify Arizona, Georgia. They're still not locked down. They're very tentative. But we have opportunities in North Carolina. We have opportunities in South Carolina.
Great.
Mississippi should be a purple state.
Did you say South Carolina?
South Carolina, Mississippi. By demographic, they should be purple or blue states.
Oh, okay.
40% of Mississippi is black.
I know it's black, but sometimes I wonder because of the way the numbers come out.
All you need is 10% of white people. And we don't even get that. We don't even get that in Mississippi. And Texas.
Yeah.
By demographics,
Texas should be
purple to blue.
Right.
And so we gotta fight for those things. And one of the things I love about how the conference is evolving is people are in the early days, you may even remember this, it was all about Howard Dean versus John Kerry and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, great, presidential, but can we focus on these down ballot races?
We're starting to see a lot of the panels.
And now it's really, the conference has evolved into how to better organize on the ground at the state level. And even here, I don't know if you saw the keynote last night.
Yes, I did. Oh, you bet you did?
This is a blue city. Chicago is a Democratic city.
Yeah.
It upgraded its Democrats. And all sorts of incredible new policies are emerging from the mayor's office, from the DA, elimination of cash bail, incredible new policies. And so it matters in a blue state. It matters in a purple state, obviously, because that's a battleground.
Right.
But it matters in red states. I mean, tonight we're going to talk to Justin Jones, and who had his incredible
re-election after being thrown out.
Re-election in Tennessee, and catalyzing support for Democrats in branding Democrats. We're the party of gun safety. And we talked about earlier that Democratic Party brand is trash. It's important for people like Justin Jones to stand up and say, this is what Democrats really stand for, and to work on that rebranding process. That's a red state challenge. And so this conversation, these organizing has to happen everywhere, even in the reddest states. And it is happening. And I'm really excited, and I'm really hopeful for where we are going forward as a movement, because as I said, we won this Supreme Court election in Wisconsin. We took control of this Supreme Court. That means we're going to redraw the state legislative districts. A fair map gives us a chance at majorities. We're going to redraw the House district. That's 2-3 seats we're going to pick up right there. And then not to mention all the policy stuff that court was blocking. 3 election cycles ago, Republican ran unopposed. We're finally realizing this matters. So that's what I'm really excited about. The president's important. We're gonna have those battles. I'm sure we will, in 4 years. But we're finally realizing the important battles are things like school boards. Conservatives always knew this.
And we're starting to get.
We finally are getting the idea, this shit matters.
Markos Moulitsas.
Thank you so much.
El Señor Director de Daily Coast. Thank you so kindly for being here on Politics.
Such a pleasure, and thanks for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share.